Hello, this is your boy Walter once again. Welcome back to the Football Podcast. Everything about football, local content. Sweden wafethu kushubile. It is the Soweto DERBY. Everything kuyashisa kumanzi parts. So we're going to be talking about everything from players to the teams. It's an exciting thing. It's the biggest calendar or the biggest fixture in the South African calendar. So stay tuned. But one thing I would like to ask you guys, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the content. Share with your friends, share on your social media. But yeah, our faith with QB Walter is here, and we're going to be having a good time. Now, starting off with everything that's going on the streets, on radios, everywhere, people are talking about it. Pirates versus Kaiser Chiefs versus Pirates. Now, for me, I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of things thinking in my head, a lot of thoughts about what's going to happen, what kind of results, what can we expect. It is a semi-final. It's a do or die, wafa wafa. Whoever wins has a chance to actually go to the final, have the opportunity to be able to win the trophy. So, starting off with everything that's going on, we've been hearing reports. I'm sure you guys watched. We've been watching press conference. We've been watching Zwane. We're watching the players. The build-up, the pre-match build-up towards the derby itself. A lot of interesting points to talk about when it comes to the kind of setup and what we can expect from the two teams. So just have a few things to discuss with you guys looking at the two teams. So honestly, if I had to look at the two teams, right? Looking at current form, I know they always say that you can't really we can't say that form counts kutabi. Doesn't matter kutubana we needed last week, last month. Doesn't matter who carries form. Doesn't matter if you lost 5 games or 20 games, but we derby. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of tactics go out the window. It's about who has heart, who has bravery. But at the same time, we cannot ignore the fact that your tactics and your tactics, or technically, you have to get it spot on. But on the day, it all depends on the players that you put on. Are they willing? Are they willing to put everything on the line? Are they willing to die on the field? Because it's going to be a packed stadium. Everyone's going to be watching. The whole country of it is going to be shut down watching the derby. You've got I've seen about Wonder Park, this sightseeing, not really sightseeing, but you've got what do they call these things? Where you just go and watch football. Pubs are opening up to show you that it's the biggest fixture in the calendar year. But now, let's cut down the emotions and let's get back to one thing that is important to remember. Kaiser Chiefs for me are coming in as the underdogs in this case. Why am I saying that is Pirates haven't lost a game in 7 matches. The last 5 games, they've won all of them. Oh, the last 5 games, sorry, they've won 4 and they drew 1. Now, that says a lot because obviously, like I said before, yes, form doesn't count, but it tells a picture because you can't ignore the fact that there is a possibility. Looking at how the teams are going to be set up, we have to look at the fact that what's the outcome? What could possibly happen in this fixture? Now, on the other hand, we have Kaiser Chiefs, which, in my opinion, they've been very inconsistent. And now this is the last opportunity for them this season, to be honest, for them to either decide if we're going to get a trophy or something to make the fans happy. But now, I want to start with Kaiser Chiefs first, looking at the form so far and why we call them the underdogs. So now what we see is you have the last 5 games, 1, 2, draw 1, lost 2. Very inconsistent. But now if you had to go deeper, you find that what we've seen so far is there's been a couple of changes in the midfield where I feel the experience of Zwane may just be the weakness in the kind of team that he may bring on the day. Dove is suspended. We've heard reports that he's possibly out for the rest of the season. But there's a surprise package as well, where we've heard that Kama Piliat has been training with the team. But that still doesn't mean anything, because as much as he can be available, is he ready to start? Is he going to help us, or is it a good idea, let me put it like that, to put him in a deep end where the team has gelled, the front three and the midfield that we've been sort of chopping and changing has found some sort of chemistry. So with a big game like this, you cannot tamper or test out new combinations, especially late in the season like this, especially when you're playing possibly a final. It's your last opportunity to either win it, go big or go home. So here's my prediction. If I were Zwane at this stage of the game, or of the season, if you will, mina bengaqala ngoKhune, my number one. As much as the last game he didn't have a good game, because I feel he doesn't have the right defense for protection. So he's always conceding funny goals because of the defense that we have. So I'm thinking it's going to go with a possible Kwinika. When I'm looking at Ungcobo no Kwinika, I would lean on Kwinika, because Ungcobo's mentally and psychologically, I don't think his head in the game has been right for some time. And I think also maybe off-field issues have been affecting him. That's why he's been making such silly mistakes. So in that sense, I would start with Ukwinika. Ngezane has been good. He's actually been much more solid than any other defender this season for us. I'll still stick with Frosler on the right. Obviously, we don't have a left back, so we have to go with Ushanti. I hope he has learned that instead of starting with Happy Mashiana, rather start with Sehot. He's your only shot. Let's be honest. He's the only shot that we have. Maybe a penalty here or there, whether he runs aimlessly, we don't even know what he's doing. But it's enough, because we hardly have quality, because we're going to miss kicking. As much as we feel like he's off form, but we're going to miss him. So for me, that's where Zwane's little experience that he has, the trust that I have in him, I hope he's going to come out of that game, because that's the only time I feel it's a good time to make quick changes, but don't tamper too much with the players that have found some sort of common ground with each other. So it's a tricky one. Then on the right, I would stick with, I think, Usayile. No, I'm jumping the midfield. So the midfield, that's where it's going to be critical, because now Stebe is a 6. For me, I wouldn't start Umart. I'm sorry, guys. I have issues with Umart because I have seen him in a couple of games that he is the weakness in that midfield. His tackles are too rushed, however you would call it, whatever you call it. Tracking back is a bit of a problem. Going forward, especially in the D-line, he has a problem with using the right technique. Doesn't know the weight of the pass. Should he pass? Should he shoot? Decision making is very wrong. And that's what Zwane has been saying. All our players have been making the wrong decisions because of the chemistry and being able to understand when is the right time to shoot, when is the right time to pass, when is the right time to be patient and wait for your opponent to open up. So for me, I would take a risk and put in Zwane, because he's much more of a creative thinker than Umart. Then I would supplement him with bit of experience that I would tip Umatlo to come in, but I know that the best combination would to pay Zwane no Mark. Mark, because of his energy levels, he's all over the pitch. You'll find him everywhere. It's just that I just have a problem with how he would play. Then I would go for Mtutuzi. I would go for Dupree, and I would go Saile at the right-hand side, cutting it into the left, because the last time against Pirates, he actually gave us a red card, and you saw one pass, he was quick out, and Dupree as well. With that said, it'll only depend whether we talk about tactics going right. It all depends on which one of these players are willing to take the game, um, carry the game on their shoulders, and actually play for the team. For once, play for the team. Stop playing for each other. So that's my prediction and that's my thoughts on it. And I don't know what you guys are thinking, but if there's any difference, what's your starting 11? What's your prediction? What's your thought on this game, man? It's a big game, so you can leave your comments or any thoughts in your comment section right there. Now, coming to Pirates, Pirates, I know with Riviero, for me, we've seen the last game that they played, he rested a few players. So you can already understand that either it's a mind game or he already has an idea because of the planning behind, because both of these guys are studying each other. Right now, as we speak, probably video analysts are there. The only thing have seen in the headlights this week, he was complaining about Kaiser Chiefs having enough rest time because they were playing a game midweekend. Kaiser Chiefs only played a game on Monday, so they had a couple of days more to rest than Pirates. But the issue here is, apart from that, we still need to play the game. You still need to play the fixture. It's already set. So you have a squad that you still need to put out. How, regardless of the fixtures, you have to live up to the game. Now, for me, I would go with the same lineup because they have been winning games. So if it's not broken, if it's working, don't fix it. It's not broken, don't fix it. So for me, I feel he's going to go with a much more of a 3-4-3 with a, I don't know this Marco thing because he's been using Marco on the right hand side. I don't know what the idea is, but I'm guessing there's a formula to the madness, but we don't know too much about it. But on the left, okay, 3 Oki, Maela, who's this guy? Smith. Then Dion Hoto, wing back. Marco Oshandu, I think Moyana will be available. In the midfield, we've got Mikel Team. For me, Undlonjo, Kabelo Dlamini, Saling. Not too sure about Tulosh because we've heard that he may not be fit for the game. So maybe Chugamanja. Who else is on the bench? Maybe a Tabong Munari pushing Undlonjo up. And I think I'm missing one player. There, it could be critical because I don't want to say Erasmus because he's more of he's been used as an impact player these days. But I know one thing's for sure, what's going to happen is if Kaizer Chiefs are not careful with the set pieces, Pirates may actually have an advantage there because there we've seen that Kaizer Chiefs, when it comes to set pieces, they've been sleeping. They are very careless. They are very this thing of zonal marking. So for them, that's something that they haven't really mastered as yet or actually practiced enough to make sure that they don't concede enough corners or to make sure that they defend set pieces very well. And Pirates, we've seen in the past, in the last couple of games that they've won, they've actually won the battle there. So for me, that could be the possible lineup for there. Now, let's come to the key players for both these teams. Who are the players who may influence the game? For me, Kaizer Chiefs. It's very hard, because of the season they had, it's very hard to actually give a prediction as to who might, because it's very random. The last, oh yes, but remember now, as much as we talked about form, Kaizer Chiefs have won the last 5 derbies. So that tells you enough to say that on the day, they have an advantage. As much as form in terms of the league, they're coming in as underdogs. So they must be careful because Pirates is coming with, is oozing. It's going to be oozing with confidence because these guys have been winning games. So form favors them at this point. But on the other hand, Kaizer Chiefs haven't lost a derby in the last 5 games. Which, for me, again, well, let's be honest. In the last 2 games, they've been lucky. The last one was a manna from heaven when Mart hit that long-range effort from the center line. Then the last one was another mistake from defense, Sunda heading it, giving us the win. So for me, Kaizer Chiefs need to take their chances. If they can be able to bury at least one chance, they have a shot. But If I had to choose key players there, going back to my point, I would tip Dupree. On the day he can give us something, I would tip Saile for him to step up, because he has shown a bit of quality here and there. Duduzi Shabalala, I think he has it in him. He has played with Derby before, so he probably can give us an assist because we don't have a Dolly. In midfield, I cannot really say if Sehota were to be there, it will give us something, but maybe can give us an assist. But for me, it all depends on the approach, because as much as we can say these are the kind of players that you can actually watch or look out for, the thing is with Kaizer Chiefs is very, very, or with the derby itself, let's not blame the players or focus too much on what's happened in the past. Derbies are very unpredictable, guys. We can talk all we want, we can bet, we can discuss who has the better form or this or that, but to be honest, derbies are very unpredictable. It has shown in the past. That's why it's such an emotional game. That's why you have to wait to see what's going to happen. So here is the speculation. We're just looking at the fact that we want to be able to prepare and not be surprised when things happen. So those are the two players for me that can actually change the game for them. If they happen not to concede, or if they do, these are the two players that they can rely on, because we've seen him, Saile and Dupree, in the cup itself. They've bailed Chiefs out where it matters most. Until this far, they've actually come through. On the other hand, with Pirates, I would say that Saling has been having a fantastic season, let's be honest. So Saile mina yambona ukuthi umuntu who can actually be a problem, because we've seen him go MTN8 in another cup competition where he was very instrumental in them winning that cup. And if Lodge is fit enough, though, just the concern that I have is the fact that the fitness levels has not been confirmed. So for me, Pirates also are susceptible to conceding, so they may be able to concede. So that's why I'm not focused too much on the defense, but also on the impact players, or the key players either, that may actually make this fixture very interesting. So what do we know so far from the two coaches? Just to check. Now, for me, this is what we know. Zwane knows how Pirates plays. And for him, we've seen that when it comes to this derby, he has a knack or an advantage rather, because he has played in the derby as a player. Riviero, yes, he has played in a couple of derbies now as a coach. But the thing is that maybe the football gods are on Zwane's side, that he has played these fixtures, as he knows how to handle players, he knows how to prepare for such tournaments. So that's the only difference I feel, if we had to throw everything aside and decide who actually may have an advantage over the other in terms of coaching. But like I said before, I'm also on the fact that Pirates may come up with something in terms of form. But what I think is the outcome, that if things are both even, we may actually see penalties. And that's a possibility. So we may actually see penalties in this fixture. So we may be decided by penalties. But to be fair, if also I would add this, Chiefs, the last fixture, they won in 90 minutes. Pirates, they won in penalties. So as much as we can hype them up about the league form and all these things, sharing the cup, their form is a bit different. So that's my take. I don't know what you guys think. Please leave a comment. Like I said, don't forget to like, to subscribe, and let's see what's going to happen. It's going to be an interesting one. And catch you on the next episode, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much, guys, for giving me love and support. This is the beginning of a beautiful journey. Let's see you on the derby, and see you guys on the next episode. Thank you so much. Shop, shop.